Father-Daughter Disney podcast. My name is Amanda. I'm here with my very lovely mother.
Hi, I'm Janette.
And today my mom is going to be going over Disney's Wilderness Lodge Resort. So I'm so excited to hear about the Wilderness Lodge. We have actually never stayed at the Wilderness Lodge. So I'm excited to learn more about the Wilderness Lodge. Considering we're always at the Contemporary and the buses share like Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge.
Yes, we've always driven through their property.
Share bus. So we've been there many a time in the bus, but
just
we've
not
never
gotten
actually
off the bus,
stayed there
right.
before or spent a lot of time there. So all right, I'll let her take it away. Tell us about the Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, this is the third hotel around the lake, so we thought we'd do this one because I've already done the Contemporary and the Polynesian. It was harder for me to do this one, I was telling Amanda, because I've never stayed here. Like, we've never really spent a lot of time there, so really I was doing more research than I was taking, from my memories. But this is it's called the Disney Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. So the first thing is the Disney description of the resort. It's inspired by a turn-of-a-century national park lodges, especially the one that's in Old Faithful. It's called the Old Faithful Inn in Yellowstone. So they crafted it around that. It's American craftsmanship and honors the beauty of the untamed wilderness. You can soak in splendor of great outdoors, outside and inside. Enjoy the rustic elegance of a stone hearth and a roaring fireplace with towering totem poles and headdresses. So that's what Disney tells you the lodge is like. The lodge itself was opened in 1994, and it's on a 750-acre plot of land. It is an 8-story atrium lobby and made almost completely of lodgepole pine from the dead forest of Oregon. They shipped all of that stuff cross country to do it. It has beautifully polished floors that are made from different types of wood, including pine, bird's eye maple, and Brazilian cherry, in a design to tell a Native American story. So if you're up on one of the top levels and look over the balcony, you can actually see the design tells a story in the flooring, which I think is very interesting. Okay, and I apologize for the wrestling paper, but I still write things out. I don't use the computer. Okay, that's the lodge.
That's
and
crazy that they shipped everything from Oregon.
That's everything
cool.
came from Oregon.
Yeah.
They made sure that it was all authentic, obviously. Typical Disney way. And as I'm going through, I'm going to do the lodge and the lodge first, but the campsite resort was opened in 1971. It was back in the 1960s. Walt wanted to cater to every type of potential guest. So he designed a resort property which included space for campers and those traveling with recreational vehicles. There were 2 other locations originally. One was on the southwest side of the Magic Kingdom, and one was on the northeastern side. And that is not far from where it is now. But originally when he put it in there, he was looking for people who could come in with their campers. The average family man could come with their campers or their tents or their RVs and have someplace also to stay in Disney, as opposed to all the people with, the top tier.
People who want to go to the resorts.
Yes, who stayed in the fancy hotels.
For sure.
Okay. This is a quote, Walt wanted people to be able to sleep in everything from a suite to a sleeping bag. So he figured if he had the hotels, he should also have a campsite. So I figured I would do both of them. I'll give you information on both the campsites and things. Because we're DVC, I get a monthly magazine. And actually the DVC magazine came this month after we decided I was going to do this. It was actually focused on the campsite and all of the references it does to the old campsite. And even though over the years they've updated it, it has a lot of references to what the decorations are and what they all lead back to. Of course, Chip and Dale are a big thing in the campsite. Goofy and Chip and Dale. Okay. When the campsite was opened, it provided guests with ample opportunity to enjoy the natural beauty of Walt Disney World Resort from the comfort of their campsite. It started with 232 campsites sprawled across 6 original trails with 3 comfort stations, a welcoming reception outpost, and the Tri-Circle D Ranch. We've done that. If we want to take a minute to talk about that is closed right now. When I was looking at all the information, it says that the Tri-Circle D Ranch is temporarily closed due to construction. So I don't know exactly what I guess because they're building the DVC cabins now, they're adding to the DVC. There's construction, so they've closed the Circle D. But I know we've talked about it before that we did the Tri-Circle D.
Yeah, no, we did one of the little horse tours. We ride the horses around the campgrounds, basically.
Right, and they take you all through the campgrounds, and you can see the people's cabins and their campsites and whatever.
And I would say it's a very luxurious thing too. So for instance, I've gone horseback riding at other places, but here they have you walk up on this board basically to get on the horse.
Right.
So you don't have to get on the horse from the ground, which can be very difficult for some people, especially if you've never gotten on a horse before. Right. You may not realize how high up that horse is.
They are very high.
So here it is basically the horse walks through these 2 pieces of board and you get to you can get on the horse much easier than getting on just straight from the ground, because you got to have that thigh strength, that upper arm strength strength too.
Yes.
And also not pull the saddle off the
And
horse.
it's a very
as well.
easy trail. It's not
very
like
easy.
you have to worry about it.
You don't go fast at all or anything. No uphill or downhill. It's just
like I said,
very
if you,
simple.
anybody who heard the last vlog, podcast, whatever, when we talked about it, I got somehow they gave me the problem horse. My horse wanted to stop every 5 minutes. My horse wanted to be in the sun. My horse wanted to take off when we came across one road. My horse was dying to take off. I would have loved to have taken off, but I knew I couldn't. But it is a very good thing to do. I thought it was fun.
Very easy trail. Like I've gone horse when I was in Colorado. We went horseback riding, and that trail was scary. Like we were going up and down some steep rocks.
We did it also up in New Jersey. I remember when you were kids.
Yeah, but that trail was pretty. No, that trail was in comparison to what I did in Colorado.
Well, let me tell you, the one in New Jersey, we were on the edge of that cliff, and I was like, okay, nice horse, just stay on the road.
Parts of the trail in Colorado, it was extremely steep going up and down, and it was just they were telling us like how you had to sit on the horse a certain way, and like how you hold the saddle in a certain way so you don't fall off or you don't scare the horse so you don't fall off. And I was just like, I was not prepared for that. So.
Yeah, and if you are DVC or annual pass, there are discounts too to get the thing. So anyway, so that was just a little side thing. But there was also a temporary bike barn, a marina, and only 40 cast members. Now, if you go there today, there are hundreds of cast members at the resort. And still today, the forest oasis of simple delights continues to provide a natural escape. As of now, Disney is expanding on the resort with the DVC Vacation Club cabins, which are set to open in July. The whole resort is infused with reflections of the original Fort Wilderness campground, not to be confused with the Fort Wilderness campsite next door. The lodge itself is a beautiful 8-story building, as I said. Beautiful colors. They did all the colors from the west, the greens, the magentas, the golds, and it houses 727 guest rooms. Big lodge. Okay, there are 5 different dining locations and plenty of majestic pools. There are nature trails, pine forests at every turn. It houses an 82-foot fireplace that duplicates the rock strata of the Grand Canyon, so it takes up the whole wall. The lobby is also home to the Whispering Canyon Cafe, which Disney says is known for food and crazy antics, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a gift shop known as the Mercantile. And the restaurant is open from 7:30 a.m. till 10 p.m. We were actually at that restaurant. Do you remember being at that restaurant when you were a kid?
No.
When they were kids, somebody told me, oh, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. So I said, oh, well, kids will probably enjoy it. They said, oh, yeah, they have lots of fun. It's like crazy place, So we went. They served the food family style, which was a problem with us because I had 2 picky eaters.
Well, did they still do the same thing?
I think they still do the same thing. I am a picky eater myself.
Let's keep in mind, this was likely 20 years ago.
Yes, so, it was a long time ago. But the food was a lot of smoked meats, which was not good for us. So the food was not that good. And really the only thing they did when we were there is that they have when you were a kid, when we were kids, they had the poles with the little horse heads on the top. And what they would do is they would give all the little kids one of those, have them come up and run up and take one of those horse heads, and they give them a bandana, and they could run around the restaurant with that, making believe they were riding a horse with the bandanas. So I think you ended up having probably a good time. I was not impressed, but you probably had a good time.
Well, again, I would check to see what it's like today.
Yes.
Again, that was 20 years ago.
Yes, it could be different
I don't know
today,
what it's like today.
but it is still that type of atmosphere.
Yes.
What they're saying is that you never know what's going to happen. Somebody asked for ketchup and they brought him 25 bottles of ketchup or something like that. It was like one of those deals, like when you go to Mama Melrose in like Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
There's a personality to the restaurant. The hotel has standard rooms and suites, club level service rooms and suites, deluxe studios, 2-bedroom cabins, and 1, 2, and 3-bedroom villas right now. Some of the rooms have a Magic Kingdom view, but if you don't have a view, they said you could just head down to their docks, and there you are on Bay Lake, and you can just see all the fireworks from the docks. There's additional, lots of eating around this hotel because there are additional dining options. You've got Roaring Fork, which is the place that they usually have to grab a quick bite for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Has a small little dining area. It's open from 7 in the morning till 11 at night. Most of the hotels have that. They have Storybook Dining, which is Artist Point with Snow White. It has appearances of the Disney characters from the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs movie. That's $65 per adult and $39 per child plus tax and gratuity. So it's a character dinner. They also have a Geyser Point Bar and Grill at the Copper Creek Pool. Their lunch and dinner and bar foods is at poolside from 11 in the morning till 11 at night. They have small bites and rustic fare with views of Bay Lake, so it's a very pretty little place. And they also have a territory lounge bar service, which has craft views, regional wines, specialty coffees, and some apps in a log cabin themed view lounge. I mean, obviously everything is trying to make you remember that you're supposed to be in the Northwest. Transportation options for this hotel is you have the water taxi to Magic Kingdom, the Contemporary Hotel, and the campground. And there's also bus service to the other parks and to Disney Springs. You can get valet parking or self-parking available. And this hotel is a top-tier hotel with amenities that all the other ones ones do. The complimentary Wi-Fi, online check-in, ATM, banking, designated smoking areas, housekeeping, laundry, mail services, club level concierge, in-room floral and gifts, and those Disney voice assistants that they have in the things, and the minivan service. Of course, some of these are additional charges, but it is, even though you're looking at a very rustic atmosphere, you're still in one of their top tier hotels.
I guess I would also note too that even though this is a Magic Kingdom resort, they're not on the monorail. So they're very close to Magic Kingdom. Again, they have that taxi service, that water taxi.
Yes, the water
service
taxi
to
takes you
Kingdom,
back and forth.
But you're not actually on the monorail is the only thing to note.
No.
So.
And like I said, recreational wise, you have what we just talked about, the Circle D Ranch. They have 2 pools, a Copper Creek Springs pool, which you follow a bubbling creek, Copper Creek, to a heated pool surrounded by nature with a 67-foot water slide built into the rocks. So as the theme goes, they're still making you think that you're in the middle of like the Grand Canyon in the Northwest, with a hot and cold whirlpool spas. They have 2 of them. They have a hot one and a cold whirlpool spa. Then there's the Boulder Ridge.
You want to go in a cold spa, a cold water thing.
Well, I was in a hotel one time.
I guess that's a thing. But
yes, I was in a hotel one time up in Vermont, the Mount Snow Inn, and they had cold pool and a heated spa. You went into the heated spa, got all heated up and whatever, and then you're supposed to jump into the cold pool. I did not do that, but there were people doing it. It's supposed to be very healthy.
Yeah, no, I have heard that before.
Yes.
I know that's like a thing for your body.
Yes,
it's
supposed to be very healthy for your body.
I just would not do that.
Yes, but they do have both at this hotel. Okay, Boulder Ridge Cove Pool is a more laid-back pool. It has a whirlpool spa, I guess it's heated, and a 0 depth entry. So that's more of a, things. There's lots of pool activities at the big pool, the Copper Creek Springs pool. Of course, it's like one of those pools that has like relay games, trivia, all the kids' games like playing during the day that they have going on. They have the normal campfire activities that the hotels have. Located near the geyser pool, they do the s'mores and the trail tales at night. They do trail tales when you're getting your s'mores. And they also have movies under the stars at 8:30 p.m. They have guided fishing experiences on the Bay Lake. You can see the electrical water pageant, obviously, from some of the rooms each night on Bay Lake. They have a health club, full health club with a sauna, tons of jogging trails, and they have an arcade called Buttons and Bells for the kids. So it is one of their top tier hotels. It has everything. Now you get to the campsites. Campsites are 750 acres of pine cypress forest with woodland trails, spectacular pool areas, and entertainment. These are fully equipped campsites. Now, those of you who know what a campsite is, a fully equipped campsite has all your hookups. It has a barbecue. It has a table. It has all the things you need when you come out of that campsite to enjoy your space there. It accommodates up to 45-foot or longer RVs, but it has a limit of maximum of 10 guests per site. So if you're going to be more than 10 people in your family, you have to get 2 sites. You cannot just jam them all into one. So they do keep some kind of things. I know that they're getting very picky about people coming in and out of the campsites too, because it's become a very big thing, I think, in the last couple of years of the decorations at the campsites, especially around Halloween.
People who go to the campsites is almost like a little community who are there. Mm-hmm. There's lots of Facebook groups that you can join and stuff like that of things that they do. There's special like hide and seek things that only people in the campsite really participate in. They have the big 4th of July golf carts, festival too that they do. Again, they do Halloween parades. So there's a lot of stuff I would say that the community itselp there do.
Yes.
That's not really
so they're
part
starting
of the
to
outside.
get people are starting to learn about that, and they're trying to get into the campsites just to spend the day, and they're cracking down on that.
For sure.
Right. So they also have their own pool with a water slide. It's called the Meadow Swimming Pool with a corkscrew water slide and a whirlpool spa that's fort themed with a water play area for the kids. Like I said, it's very family oriented. They also have a wilderness pool, which is like a quiet pool with a spa for those people who don't want to have the kids running all over and jumping all over. They limit what you can drive in and out, and you can have golf carts, but they do also rent golf carts. So if you want to rent a golf cart while you're there to take the golf cart from your campsite and ride around, some of the trails you're allowed to take the golf carts down and stuff, so you can rent golf carts. They have activities including archery with the horseback riding, which is temporarily closed, and they do also do canoeing. So you're allowed to do canoeing there.
Why have we not gone canoeing yet, Mom?
I know, that's the new thing we're going to have to go. Okay, yeah, well, you have to go to the campsite, and I'm not staying in a campsite. As much as these are supposed to be luxury campsites, I'm sorry, but those who know me, no, if I ever had to stay there, it would be in the lodge. Okay. They have a pet-friendly policy, obviously, because these people are coming with their families or whatever. And they say that you can decorate your campsite as long as you follow the decoration rules. They allow you to do anything, but they do have a set of rules you have to follow. The transportation here is the same as the lodge. You get the boat to all these different areas, or you can take the buses off to the other parks. They also have a couple of different dining options. They have a Meadow Snack Bar, which is open from 11 in the morning till 8 at night by the Meadow Swimming Pool. They have Crockett's Tavern, which is from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., which serves bar service, some grub, it says, which is like sliders and nuggets and things like that. And then you have the chuck wagon, which is it serves like classic fare, like snacks, like hamburgers and things and stuff like that, from 5:30 to 9:30. And the Trail End Restaurant is their big restaurant on the premises. It's open from 7:30 to 9:45. It serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They also have a Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review dinner show with an all-you-care-to-enjoy feast. They have 3 seatings, a 4 o'clock, a 6:15, and an 8:30. And that's $59.99 for adults, tax, and gratuity. They did not have a child price on the
I will say
the
that
website.
show is very popular. I know people really love that show.
Yeah.
I've heard it's very good. I've seen lots of videos and stuff of it.
Yeah,
too.
I think if you're going to this, it reminds me of the times when I was a kid, and once or twice my uncle used to take his my cousins to the Dude Ranch all the time. And this reminds me of when we went to the Dude Ranch. Like I said, I've never been camping in one of these campsites kind of things. I've been camping, but not this type of camping. It was the same deal when you go to like one of these, and they had the shows too in their like clubhouse.
Yeah.
And it was always very fun because you're out on the horses during the day. Like on this one, you're doing stuff in the campsite and doing whatever, and you're going canoeing in pools and whatever. And then at night they'd have these shows, and you go and you have like grub, as they call it, and you sit and watch the shows, and everybody kind of knows everybody else because you're in that little enclave. And I have to say, it is a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, no,
so
for sure.
it sounds like this one's pretty good too. But this place also, like I said, is high end. You got all your amenities. You can do the in-room floral gifts. You got complimentary parking, vehicles and recreation devices for cruising around the woods. The restrictions are all listed on the website. You got the minivan service, RV. You can actually rent an RV to stay in this campsite. A high-speed internet, online check-in, laundry and dry cleaning, ATM, mail services, and the Disney signature service little things that they put in there, the little, what they call them, voice-activated things that you can talk to. So it is a top tier, even if you're staying in the campsite. And as I did my research, I was like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Not enough to entice me, but sounds like a lot of fun.
That's just because we're not really camping people.
No, I'm not a camping person, so my kids were never given the opportunity because a few little times I went camping, I was not happy. I camped on the beach and I camped in the woods, and both of them were very, very interesting experiences. And I'm just not that type of person.
Kind of like, I feel like this is where you can go true camping, but also be glamping
yes,
too. I feel like we would definitely go glamping.
If anybody ever said, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this, I'd rent one of those RVs. Say, okay, I want one of those big special RVs I can rent and stay in there. Because these days, I have to say, like it was very funny because we were talking even last night at dinner, and we said something about somebody living somewhere in that kind of enclave, and I said something like a trailer park, and right away, like, when you say trailer park these days, people say, oh, trailer park. Trailer park is not what it used to be. Trailers have become a very big way for people
there are some luxurious trailers and RVs out
to
there
have
these
your
days.
little spot where you don't, you have your little place to live, but at the same time, you've got all that atmosphere around you, and you can make it anything you want at these days. And I think that this campsite is that type of thing where you can stay very rustic and just stay in a little campsite, bring your own tent, bring your own little RV, bring your own little whatever, or you can stay in a glamorous, RV, big gigantic RV, and then just come out and do the campsite stuff. So I think they're giving everybody the choice at that point. And like I said, because I'm not a camp person, none of it really interests me. I would rather just stay in the lodge. That's good enough for me to have the atmosphere in the lodge. But I think that after doing the research, I was like, wow, really is a nice little place, I think, to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. Maybe one day we'll go. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe when you have your kids, you can take them. I'll stay in the lodge. You guys can go stay in the campsite.
No, this is great though. Yeah, because I didn't really know a lot about Fort Wilderness.
I didn't know. Yeah.
But all right, awesome. So anything else on the topic?
Nope. I think I did pretty good of telling you exactly what it has, exactly what it is. And like I said, they're very busy because when the buses pull up there, 98% of the people get off at that lodge. It's a very big lodge.
Yeah.
It's not a small area. It's a very, very big, very spread out. When you see pictures of the lobby and when you've been in the lobby, it's like the Animal Kingdom lobby. Like you walk in and it's that atrium lobby and it's got all the wood and it's got all the dark, chandeliers and the things and the totem poles and stuff. So it is a very interesting atmosphere.
Yeah, no, sure. All right, we'll transition into just a little bit of Disney news. So right now, everyone is into their croissants. There's croissants everywhere right now in Disney World. Get your croissant. So in Disney's Port Orleans, you can get the new espresso croissant. So it is a croissant with dusted with espresso powder, and I think there's also some espresso something else inside of it. There's the PB&J croissant at Everything Pops. So that one looks wild.
That one looks good.
Yeah, it was a huge jelly filling almost to it with peanut butter also on it. So it looks very stuffed for sure.
I know,
it looks very
but
pretty.
Looked good.
And then of course there's the cookie croissant at the Contempo Cafe. So that one kind of it's basically cookie dough. It's supposed to be more cooked cookie because when the TikTok tried to put in cookie in it, the way you cook it, it's supposed to be a little bit more cooked. But I actually had that when we were there last, and it basically is just cookie dough inside of a croissant. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was bad. I probably wouldn't get it again. It wasn't the best best croissant itself, because I think the best croissant was the one I had in the France Pavilion at Epcot. The croissant there had much better flavor for a croissant. And again, I feel like the trend right now...
That's why the line in France is so long.
Yeah, I feel like the trend right now is just putting every flavor into a croissant. I feel like there is like croissant s'mores now, again, croissant savory croissants, sweet croissants, as if the croissant hasn't been around for many, many years, but just having a big craving croissants. I feel like a couple of years ago, it was the waffles. There's waffles everywhere.
Yes.
Waffles, all different types of waffles.
Waffle cones, waffle bowls, waffle this.
So
Yeah,
now we're
it's
on a
croissants.
croissant phase, and then I wonder what the next one will be. Maybe pancakes will come back around, because I did used to really love pancakes.
Animal Kingdom started because they have a pancake breakfast sausage, a breakfast sandwich that you can get like over by the Kali River Rapids, I think. So maybe that'll take off.
All right, and then the only other little news we had today, just because we were pre-recording, is that the new changes for the DAS pass are finally in effect, and it is facing a lot of criticism by Disney goers. So a lot of people who used to qualify for the DAS pass who do have disabilities no longer qualify, and they're saying that it seems that the only people who are qualifying is for disabilities that are linked to autism. And if you do not have a link to autism, a lot of people are being denied. So some people were jokingly saying it's more of the Disney's autism service rather than the Disney's, the Disney accessibility service. So I guess we'll see if they modify it, if they change it a little bit and allow more people access to it, or maybe they just change the policy of how you're able to get the DAS pass. I'm not really sure, but I know it is facing criticism since a lot of people who really need the DAS pass before can no longer get it. Right. And now,
and some people,
they're going to struggle
technically it's like Genie Plus, and some people can't, if you're paying to get into the park, some people can't afford to get Genie Plus.
No, Genie Plus is expensive.
Right.
So, especially for your whole party too.
Yes.
So. All right. And then for our Disney birthdays, we have one Disney birthday on June 10th. It is Michelle Jones. She plays MJ in the new Spider-Man movies.
Oh, okay.
So Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies is basically the character that Zendaya plays. So yeah, she goes by MJ in the movies, but it stands for Michelle Jones rather than Mary Jane, which is what the original Spider-Man movies are. Yeah, but it's basically in Tom Holland's movie. So happy birthday to Michelle Jones, June 10th. And then finally, we can transition into our final segment of the podcast, our Disney memory.
Okay,
So,
I saved my busy Disney memory because I knew, even before I started writing this, I knew what the memory was going to be. When I asked Amanda if she remembered being in the hotel, she said no.
Oh, no, because I used to be scared of the totem poles when I was a child.
Right, that was my memory. We went to this dinner and we walked into that lobby and she started to scream.
Yeah.
Because she did not like the totem poles. She was afraid of the totem poles. So we had to go wait for dinner someplace away from the totem poles because so obviously after that experience, we never went back to that lobby for any reason. And as we got older, it just wasn't, it just was out of the context of going over there. But that was my Disney memory. When I was doing this, I was like, oh, I remember Amanda was afraid of the totem poles.
Yeah. No, I remember that in concept because I've been told I was afraid of the totem poles. When I was a child, I was afraid of like faces. Like I didn't really like scary, like human-like faces, I would say. So all of my main fears in life have to do with like a puppet mask or like a doll mask or something like that. Like things that are like human face-like but are not necessarily a human face.
Right.
And so yeah, it makes sense. I was scared of it. So
she was scared of it. So I remembered that. That was my memory.
But obviously I don't remember because I was so young when it actually
you were
happened.
young.
So
and like I said, we took you right away from it. We went and waited someplace where there was no totem poles and we never went back.
Yeah, so I just know that from being told that obviously throughout the years. But yeah, I feel like I have no memories obviously with Fort Wilderness itself because we never stayed there.
No, never stayed there.
We've never been there before.
Right. The only thing you have is when we go through by the buses.
We haven't eaten there.
And usually it's late at night at that point and we're like, okay, we're in Fort Wilderness.
So my main memory is when we went to the Tri-Circle D Ranch, which was super fun, honestly. So that was really great when we went horseback riding. Again, it's a glamorous way to go horseback riding. So it was super fun. And again, my mom's horse. So I think you do have to step on a scale and they weigh you so that you can be associated with the right horse that can
beware of
support your
that.
weight. And there is a weight limit for there. I don't remember what the weight limit is, so I would definitely look it up. I would say it's probably around 250 because I know that's just generally the weight for most horses.
I think that could be it. I think if I vaguely remember it's something.
Yeah, just from like research I've done online about
I wasn't
horses.
worried about not making the weight limit, by the way. I was more worried that I was going to somebody was going to know how much I weigh, period.
Yes. Yeah, but they do weigh you so that way they can associate you with the right horse.
Yes.
And then they put you on the horses in like a weird order, honestly.
They also ask you if you've been on a horse before.
Yeah,
they ask you what your experience is. And, I did tell them I hadn't been on a horse in years. And there was another girl who said that, I train with horses. She had the most docile horse. They put me on the horse that was giving me a problem. So who knows?
Yeah, like literally. So I got on my horse first. So they put you on the horse and they were kind of lining us up against these poles. And then my mom got put on her horse, a couple horses after me. And then they took her over to like the other side of the pasture.
Yeah, my horse had to be
sun.
separated.
So we were all in the shade and she was in the sun on the other side of the pasture by herself.
As soon as they did that, I was like, okay. Yeah. I told my horse, I said, I guess we have a problem.
Yeah, afterwards, my mama told me that she had said that her horse doesn't get along with some of the other horses, so he had to be separated.
Yeah, so I had to sit in the sun while everybody else boarded their
until
horses.
they put all the horses on, and then you walk down this little path, very simple, very
my horse
serene.
didn't mind being with the other horses. He wanted to stop every minute because they tell you you're not allowed to let them eat. Don't let them eat. Well, yeah. Well, when this big horse under you wants to put his head down and grab a thing off the ground, it's kind of hard not to have it happen.
I would say the other thing too is that this is with every time I've gone horseback riding. I've only gone horseback riding a few times, but it's funny because you may be a group of like 10 to 20 people, I would say, you know, somewhere between that number. There's usually two guides. There's one in the front and one in the back. And if you're in the middle, you're never going to hear a single word any of those guides are saying. No. So whether they're giving instructions, whether they're giving history, you'll never know.
No.
And I would say that's the only downside to horseback riding in that sense, because every time I've gone, I've always been somewhere in the middle. So it's like you just lose it's like you're just riding in silence.
Yeah, you're riding, you're just enjoying
you're riding in silence. You're just having a good old time.
Yes.
But you also can't talk to anyone too because you're riding in a single file line. So even if you try to talk to someone, it's like it's impossible.
Right, especially here because when you're going through those trails and whatever, there's a lot of trees, a lot of stuff, like you are in a single file.
Yeah, so it's only possible to do single file. So that's the other thing too. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying these are cons or anything like that. Just things of note and just like my memory of going.
Right.
But again, it was really fun. I did like it. My horse's name was Riley, which is funny because the first horse I ever went on was also named Riley.
Oh, really?
And then the last horse I went on in Colorado, his name was Weston. So yes, it was Weston-y. Okay. So if you get that reference, like, you know, 10-10 for you, because I think that's a very niche reference, saying Weston-y. So yeah, but I do remember that. It was super fun. I would love to do that again maybe one day. So maybe once the construction is done, maybe we can go back. And they do have other stuff too at that Tri-Circle D Ranch. Like there's the pony riding for like little kids.
Right.
I think there was other animals there too, like goats and
you
stuff.
You can even
stuff
just
like
go
that.
see the animals too. You don't have to go on the ride itself. You can actually go up and see the horses up close and do all that kind of stuff.
You can just take photos and stuff too. So yeah, so there's other stuff to do on the ranch as well, other than the horseback riding.
Right.
So, but we did do that and it was super fun. So alrighty, so I think that's any other notes?
Nope.
All right, well, thanks so much everyone for listening. Make sure you give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, and also on our social media. It will be linked in the description in the link tree, but we will have a dedicated Instagram post for this episode. So let us know, have you stayed at Fort Wilderness before? Did you like it? What was your thoughts? Will you go back? Have you done the lodge? Have you done the campsite? Again, we would love to know since we've actually never stayed there before. So I'd be super interested in just learning more about it. Again, I love the fact that they have such a beautiful community within the campsite because it's so cool to learn about it and seeing the people who really connect there. Again, I love all their little hide and seek things that they have and, you know, the little clues that you can do. It's definitely fun. Very, I think, classic Disney-esque of like that community building that I think there is such a strong community within Disney. Right. But I think sometimes, you know, some of us get a bit too wild, you know, it's like, you know, for instance, when Splash Mountain closed, people were leaving like a memorial at Splash Mountain. It's like, all right, let's not get too crazy. Let's not
get too tied up. Yeah.
But I do think it's really great that I think there's a lot of classic Disney there too. And I do love that Walt really wanted this because he wanted to make
he wanted the normal people to come. Like you said, there's a lot of people who can't afford to stay in a hotel, even the lower end hotels, because you know they all have their own expenses.
Well, even when we were at the Tri-Circle D Ranch going horseback riding, there was a family there, and all the kids were homeschooled, and she was telling the guide before we started that they were staying on the campground for like 2 months or something like that. Like this is one of their stops, and they were just traveling around all the south of the U.S. And this is for 2 months they were here. She said we're all homeschooled, and she was saying she was almost done with the school year when they were going, but her siblings still had a few more weeks to go. So for her, she was like, oh, I'm finally like done with school, so I feel like I'm more in like summer vacation mode. So they were saying, oh, you guys go to the park? She's like, yeah, we go to the parks maybe, you know, once or twice a week, but for the most part we kind of stay on the campsite and just hang out here and do camping, you know, activities. So I was like, that's so great. I love that. And I love that Walt envisioned that so early on and really made sure that was
one of his things. He wanted people to be able to stay anywhere from a tent to a suite.
Yeah, no, I love that. All right, so yeah, let us know what you think of Fort Wilderness. Have you stayed there before? And yeah, we'll see you all real soon.